The search for a low-spinning bomber has always been a quest of mine, to get one that really spins around 2000 to 2200. It's difficult because my swing's rubbish, but for 2023 we're going to go through every single brand and find out which is the best driver for me and which could be the best driver for you. These will feature the low-spinning drivers of 2023 and 2022 and may feature some trick shots as well. As you can see by the title, first up we're going to do Callaway versus Titleist, a personal favourite of mine, this comparison, because of how ridiculous these results were. I took both these drivers down to Gray's Golf and hit a lot of shots with them, which I will show you later on in this video. First up though, we're going to talk about the differences between these two, because TSR4 released last year in August, truly a low spinning club. TSR 1, 2, 3, 4, it is the low spinning absolute beast of a driver in the Titleist Speed project. Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond is new for 2023 in the Paradym family. Again, a low spinning beast. And although they have some differences to each other, we've got Callaway with the 360-degree forged carbon chassis, Titleist a bit more with forgiveness with that face. There are a lot of similarities as well. The main thing is the adjustable weighting that these two drivers have are very similar to each other. They have a weight close to the face and back from the club. You can change these around to make it as low spinning as possible, which I have done in both these drivers, so they're both set up very similar to each other. Looks alone, looks is subjective, but if we're talking about it from my personal opinion, I think it's extremely difficult to beat Titleist. Titleist TSR 2, 3 and 4 are, I think, the best looking drivers that you can get today. The Paradym Triple Diamond is lovely. They are both compact tall heads, but when I'm looking down at the Titleist, it's hard to beat, and I think a lot of you would agree with me as well. There's not too much going on, but that's a good thing because it just looks clean, it looks sleek. The Paradym looks a little bit more modern, and you can see that 360-degree carbon chassis. It's wrapping around. So looks-wise, I'm going to have to go with Titleist. The performance, well, I'm going to talk over some of the shots that I hit at Gray's Golf, because first up, we went with the Titleist TSR4. So what I want to say about the Titleist TSR4 is some people always link low spin to be not forgiving. When you go back in the day to the TaylorMade SLDR, a really low spinning driver with an MOI of about 5, it didn't really work very well in terms of that forgiveness. I found that the TSR4 was actually very forgiving for a driver that would be linked to low spin. This is from the data that I'm showing you guys at the GC Quad at Gray's Golf. Although I hit some bad shots with it, and trust me, I hit a lot of bad shots with it, I felt like the dispersion was really good and the numbers were pretty stable. It wasn't the fastest in the world, that'll be saved for another video, but I felt like it was actually very forgiving and it feels solid. When you hit it out the middle, it feels, I think, better than any other driver. But that sweet spot does feel rather small in terms of getting that feel. You can hit it a little bit right, a little bit left in terms of the club face, but you still get great results. So it's a bit of a weird one, this, because you do have some really good numbers that you can see here, hitting it pretty well, and I'm saying it's forgiving, but the sweet spot in terms of that feel is quite small. Some great numbers for Titleist, but not that low spinning, which I'll lead on to in a second. When I'm saying low spinning, I mean around 2000, 2200. That is low spin for me. And it did climb up at some stages to about 3000. Not a problem, but just keep that in mind for when we go on to the Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So, the Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond. This is where this video gets pretty ridiculous. This driver, with the same shaft as the Titleist TSR4, which is the Fujikura Ventus Black 7X TR, an absolute beast. This driver does not spin. This driver absolutely does not spin at all. I've hit many drivers in the last 2 or 3 years. The Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond for 120 mile/hour clubhead speed. I've never seen a driver spin as low as this consistently across the face. Now there are pros and cons to that. While I'm smacking this out of the middle, wow, it goes. I've lost a bit of speed recently, as you'll see by the numbers in a second, but it's still getting 330, 340 yards, which is actually pretty rare for me nowadays. And it's because that spin is around 2000 on average. When I'm hitting it out the middle, boom, it's ginormous. The problem I see with this is, although it feels great, and that's kind of across the club face as well, I don't think it's actually that forgiving on certain parts of the club face. And I will say, it's mainly on that toe strike. Wow, the spin just drops. I got on some toe strikes around 900 to 1100 spin. Now, if you guys don't know what that means, that's too low, and that's actually pretty harmful to your game for a bad shot. Really loss in distance for those ones. So, there's some pros and cons here. It's an absolute low spinning monster, the Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond. But, I didn't think I'd ever say this, it might be too low spinning across the face for me. This can obviously be amended by putting a different shaft in there, but just for this video, I put the exact same shaft in there for the Titleist and the Callaway, so it's the exact same setup. The data, comparing these two, is what I'm marveling at, is what I think pretty incredible. Oh, nearly dropped that. You can see here, so the Titleist has slightly higher launch and a good about 400 to 500 higher spin. As I said, it's still a low spinning model, trust me, but when you're comparing it to this Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond, for spin alone, wow, this thing just does not spin. And because of that, that led to about 23 yards more total distance. Because this Paradym is coming out as a dead bird, just literally nothing, when you're getting it on the GC quad and on some summer fairways, it's going to run out more, which would lead you guys to believe, and me to believe, the Paradym Triple Diamond takes the cake easily, right? And I think for those data alone, yes. But if we're going through across the board here, which is what I want to talk about, there are some difficult decisions overall. The Titleist looks and feels better. I think that's by quite some considerable distance. I love the way it looks and I love the way it feels. It's a tour-ready driver. The Callaway Paradym is the same. It's lagging behind a little bit in that feel off the sweet spot. And looks, I don't think it looks as good, but that's very subjective. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. Forgiveness is the big thing for me here though, because I did find that on the toe strikes with the Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond, you are losing a considerable amount of spin, which is pretty poor when you have a tendency to hit those toe strikes, which I do. No one wants to see 1100 spin, 900 spin, because that's going to drop out the sky instantly and you'll lose 40 or 50 yards, especially in the winter. So that has led to this decision being a little bit more difficult, but for me, as I said at the start of this video, I'm looking for a low spinning bomber. So I'm going with the Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond because it just does not spin. And if I become better at golf and learn to hit the sweet spot a little bit better, that will lead to this driver being in my bag instantly. But that may not be right for you. So if you're looking for something that looks proper sleek, proper classy, and feels amazing, but you don't need that low of spin, I'll go for the Titleist TSR4. But if you're looking for something that looks a little bit more modern and has explosive ball speeds and very low spin, the Callaway Paradym Triple Diamond 100% is the one to go for. I'm very impressed by the numbers that I've seen from the Paradym Triple Diamond. I don't think I've ever seen that from a driver before in terms of that spin rate. Let me know what you guys think between these two drivers. Which one do you prefer and which one have you tried? Because there's some pretty stark differences between these two. I'll be honest, didn't expect this at all. Didn't expect this one bit, but you can see there 23 total yards. That's quite a lot. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you guys are new to GolfMagic, guys, smash that subscribe button. I will be back at the GC quad at Grace Golf very soon. Put the Paradym against many other drivers. Let me know what you guys want to see next. It's made it through and it will be in my bag, but there are some very interesting drivers that I've got my eyes on to put this up against. So let me know down in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the next video.